Welcome to the Explain It podcast. I am your host, Ingrid Hernandez. So happy to be here today. I have an incredible community member. I super look up to this person and am always amazed at the power she carries with her and the confidence and all the wonderful things and ventures that she's been through that she loves to teach and talk to us about. So with that, Rhea Campbell.
You're so sweet, Ingrid. Oh my goodness. Like, I don't think I live up to that introduction, but I love you for saying that.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to come on to the Explain It podcast. I met you, is it 3 years ago now or 2? Is it 3? Did it happen that fast?
2.5, because I've been in Subto 2.5.
Okay.
And we first met in 2023, or was it 2020?
Well, I met you, from what I recall, the very first time I met you was at community camp when we were at that like RV storage unit place.
Yes.
And we were having some back and forth in the parking lot, and like everybody was kind of getting to know each other. So it was a really cool experience. And me learning about, I remember Jerry Norton was talking about like the smaller the rate cap, the better the class of the asset needs to be. And then people like to invest into these smaller rate caps when they really want something super stable and they're diversifying where their money sits. And for all of you where this sounds like I'm speaking a different language, I promise you, when I went through that experience, I felt the same way. I was like, what? And I felt dumb for not knowing those things. Which takes me back to when I first tried starting like investing, and these gentlemen who were, at the time I was a real estate agent, these gentlemen who worked at our brokerage were investors, and how it was either one of two things. Either they were terrible educators, which I don't believe it, or they were trying to keep it confusing enough so you were intimidated by what they were doing so that you would bring them the opportunities and they would really be the ones to like jump off. Like it, and for me, based on just how long I've been around in real estate, I feel like it was the latter. Like
you now know that it was the latter.
Yeah, for sure. So anywho, yeah. So tell us, how did you get started in investing, and how'd you end up here?
Yeah. Well, let me go back. I want to go back. Yes, it was community camp. It was July of 2023. And that was literally for me where the magic actually kind of opened up.
Oh.
So I'm actually going to go back to that experience because this is sort of where it happened. So I've been in commercial real estate. I used to do tenant representation. So I would represent occupiers of office space in the acquisition or I was a tenant rep broker. And I started my career with CB Richard Ellis. And then when they didn't want to give me bigger commission splits, I left and started my own company. Now, I was always built to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't have the guts early on in my career to be an entrepreneur because in my family, success was a corner office and a suit. And so, right, like that's what it looked. My father was the CEO of a drug company in Canada, not in the US, because if it was in the US, I would be a trust fund baby. They make different amounts of money in Canada. It's very different. And so that's what I grew up around, right? And I knew that we made good money because we always had a really nice house, but my parents were Depression era babies. And so they were very frugal with their money. But I knew that we had like bigger houses than other people. I knew we did well. But it never felt like we did well because my parents were always very worried about money. So that was passed on to me. So I'm very frugal. In fact, I'm cheap. My husband sometimes says I'm miserly, which is not a good thing. So I'm trying to break free from that. And what happened was throughout the 22 years that I practiced commercial real estate, loved it. It was fantastic. But I was always alone, right? I was a lone wolf. I kind of hunted and brought in my own deals. I had one client at the end of my career. I had one client and I handled their entire portfolio around the globe. I was very lucky. They're an amazing consulting firm.
Mm.
And I had the privilege of working with really, really, really bright minds, like MBAs, and I'm not an MBA. And so they taught me, right? They taught me the rigor of thinking. I taught them real estate. And it was this wonderful, amazing relationship that went on for 17 years. It's very, very. Now, sort of go back a little bit. My husband is the physician at the University of Chicago. So it wasn't uncomfortable for me to go out and start my own business because I have a husband that brought in really good money, right?
Mhm.
Professor, right? Like the most
If anybody should, should be you because you have that.
because I had a safety net, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, you're going to start a company, like good luck with that. Like, so, take that with a grain of salt. It wasn't like I was terrified. Now, I will tell you, I was terrified because I never had a man carry me financially. So when I left CV Richard Ellis and I started my own company, I had some mindset issues. Oh, good heavens, my husband is basically carrying the bills, which I was not accustomed to. That made me a little uncomfortable. But, you figure out how to get over that. And then, so for those 17 years, I was on my own, practiced my own commercial real estate. Now, my husband left in 2015, the University of Chicago, and he said, I want to start my own company. I said, awesome. My company was up and running, was making great money. It was fantastic. But remember, this is active income, right? So you're only as good as your last deal. And now I had one client, so it was a little bit different. Like I had the goose that was a golden egg, right? The golden egg would pop out every once in a while. And it was and they're big commissions in commercial real estate. Sometimes it takes 2 years to execute a deal, but it's 4 years of food, right? So yeah, it's the commissions can be very large. Yeah, I know.
What was I doing real estate?
I know.
Residential real estate.
Oh, yeah. No, tenant representation. Oh, yeah. No. It's, okay. So he started his business in 2015, and sadly, his partner died 6 weeks after we opened the first location. And we'd sunk a lot of our money, personal money, into the business. So he said to me, you have to step in because I don't know anything about business. And I was like, step in? I'm doing my own thing here. So I did. I stepped in and I did both. I ran that company and built that company and commercial real estate. Because here's the thing, Ingrid, I have a huge amount of energy that needs to be used up every day. And if my energy is not used up every day, it's not good, right? So, I don't watch TV mostly, right? I wake up and I'm on fire. So, and I work all the, I love to work. I don't work, right? I wake up on a Saturday morning, I get my coffee going, and I'm so.
Are you describing me? Are you sure it's you? This is so funny. And I thought of this too when we were talking in Monterey recently. It's there's just so much similarity. So interesting.
So much similarity.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this January of 23, my mom is dying of dementia. She's in a dementia care facility. And my mom was just she was a spark plug. I mean, that lady was just awesome. And as I was watching her decline, I was thinking, is this all I'm going to do? Right? I think there are these cathartic moments in your life where you have this emotional moment and you sort of look around and you realize if I'm going to swing for the fences, I better get busy swinging for the fences. And I realized I had sort of been playing it safe. Now, remember, I didn't have people like you guys in my circle at all. I'm so grateful. I have you, I have Pace, I have people in Owners Club, I have people in Subto. I'm so grateful because you are my people. I did not have my people. I had different people. While they're lovely people, they're not my people. My people are the entrepreneurs, the crazy creatives, the people that are taking risks, taking chances, doing self-evaluation, right? Being transparent and honest and growing no matter how painful it is, right? Those are the people that I love. Those are my people. And so I woke up and I thought, it's time for me to do something radically different. Now, remember, go back to where that miserly, Rhea's cheap. So I don't know how I found Subto. I don't know how I found Pace. I have no idea, but I did.
The algorithms got you, I'm
The
sure.
algorithms got me. And I looked at it and I thought, that's very spammy. But there was something that I was like, I'm going to look that up. And I looked it up and I was like, well, Subto is a real thing. Like, it's actually like, oh, that's legit. And I know about seller finance and some of these other things. And I was like, yeah, but like buying assets with other people's money, like, I don't know. How would you do that? Like, I don't even, right? And I joined the community. I didn't even know what a mastermind was. I'd heard of masterminds or mentorships, but remember, like, I don't live in that world. Like, I'm 57. I live in a world with people who've sold their companies or their doctors or their lawyers and they're saving for their, like, that was my world.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about anything else. Nothing. Right? Like, I'm embarrassed to say that, like, nothing.
No, please don't be embarrassed. I say this every single time. I didn't know shit about real estate, having been a real estate agent for 7 years before I met Subto,
Right.
that I was embarrassed that that was the case. I'm like, I didn't even understand deed and title as intricately as I should have.
I'm so glad you said that because it
Yeah.
makes me feel better. But I want people to hear this because if there's anybody on here who feels like, well, how did I not know that? Like, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, we put our money away into the stock market or 401ks, our mutual funds. We hope we have enough when we retire. Like, that's my world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom was dying and I thought, I'm making some radical changes. I joined Subto, I jump in and I am an action taker, right? And you know, whatever it is about Pace Morby, I don't know. I love the guy. He's amazing. I sort of read between the lines and I was like, I know what he's saying. And I'm going to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to read between the lines and I'm going to do all the things that he says to do. And I'm going to prove him wrong. Like, I cannot buy a house with somebody else's money. And then I bought my first house with somebody else's money. I was like, oh, well, that was a fluke. And then I did a hybrid deal. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that was a fluke. You know, it had what's a private money lender? Okay, well, and then I was like, well, I should be a private money lender. And then I was like, all right, well, let me like figure out the paperwork. How do we do this? And watch the videos. And as that, like, I was learning and growing, I get to community camp. Okay, this is where the community camp story comes up. So there were about 100 of us that were chosen to go to community camp. And I was chosen. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. But I'm not going to go. And I said to my husband, well, I'm not going. I mean, I don't know these people. And they're different than me because I saw myself in my circle with my people that I had been with all the time, right? But I knew that you guys, the entrepreneurs, the mixing it up, like, you're actually my people, but I hadn't actually been in the rooms with you guys yet. So I was like, I don't know. Are they going to think like I'm like, whatever? I don't know. You know, you have whatever you have. I'm kind of an acquired taste, right? I know that about myself. And I went to my husband and I said, no, I'm not going to go. And he said, what? You've told me how like amazing this is and how like you're like, oh my God, these are my people. How could you not go? And I was like, know anyone, and like it would be weird. Like, I feel weird and I'm like older and whatever else. And he said, Rhea, go. So I got my ass on a plane and I flew there. And Andrew Murray, who I'd talked to once on a call, he said, I don't know if I'm going to go. And I was like, well, if you go, I'll go. You go, I'll go. Right. And we both went and showed up there. And I was a little like kind of standoffish at first because I'm like, you know, a bunch of people knew each other and I didn't really know people. And I was like, I don't know, like, feel kind of weird. And it took, I guess, the first session, right, in that ballroom, Jerry Norton said something, which was really powerful. So I was like sort of sitting there and, you know, talking with people and getting to know people. And he said something. And at this point, I had done a couple of deals. I'd done some lending deals, right? And I was like, I don't know, like, am I going to like create a business out of this? Like, I don't know. I was pretty clear that I wanted to, you know, I say swing for the fences because I like to do things really big, right? And I was like, oh yeah, like I can do this and I should be doing it much bigger. But I still wasn't quite sure how to do this. So community camp is where everything opened up. I finally realized I'm going to let it all hang out. I'm not going to worry about who I'm going to really be me. Sometimes I swear, I have a little bit of a potty mouth, right? Like, I'm going to be really who I am. And people are either going to love it or they're not. And that's okay. And that is where everything changed. And I met you and I met all sorts of other people, and it was like incredible. Like some of my amazing, wonderful friendships, actually some of my lenders are from community camp. I have a loan out right now with somebody that I met in community camp. Actually, I borrowed from that person. So community camp is where it all started for me, and where I started to feel like I was part of the community. Like that was honestly, that was the most important thing for me, because probably because of, like, I felt a little separated. Like, I don't know, I live downtown, I'm married to a doctor, like, oh, whatever. Like, we have more of a traditional life. And but I don't. Like, that's actually not really my internal spirit is this kind of crazy, zany. I'm super creative. I love people. People annoy me, but I love people too. And I love all sorts of people, right? Like, I like, ball gowns and no teeth and tattoos, right? Like everything in between. But I worry because sometimes people look at me and they sort of kind of pigeonhole me, right? And maybe that's why I felt different, but I'm not, right? So that's kind of where it all opened up for me.
I love that so much. And forgive me if I froze a little. The Wi-Fi got goofy and I put my hotspot on. But so much of what you said, like seriously, are you my mom?
I could be.
In high school, I made friends with everyone. The jocks, the nerds, and everyone in between. And I for whatever reason, my pull internally was always like make friends with everyone. Like Pace, I moved like 13 times by the time I was 18. So I either was going to be like super extroverted and love everyone and like, that kind of a person, or the exact opposite. And I'm just like, how is it that you keep describing the things that I feel the same way about? Like I feel like the earth is so grand and vast. Why get put into this spot where you only enjoy this like singular experience? Why not go big or go home?
Yeah.
So absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. I feel the same way. I was exactly like you, right? I like people. I like all different types of people, right? I need a lot of stimulation, right? So I just need a lot of stimulation. And so this is like perfect for me because there's always something going on. There's always deals to be thinking about and doing. There's amazing people that you can partner with. There's like, it's been an incredible, fun, exciting journey so far.
I love it. I'm going to have to ask you this question because of what you just said. So, totally understand when you're first starting out, like kind of be in your 90-day box so that you're not interfering with like seeing your proof of concept and that you can be successful. How do you feel about people who maybe tell you, like, Rhea, stick to a lane, like
Yeah.
figure out, because it's something I'm experiencing right now, but I'm like, no, there's just so much goodness. So just curious what your perspective is.
I don't, I've learned, so I had to do a lot. So I got sober 24 years ago. So I had to do a lot of inside work because my life was kind of careening right out of control. And mostly because I need a lot of stimulation, right? I need a lot of things going on. And so I was like medicating, right? Because I'm bored. And so I would drink, and it obviously became a very big problem. And so I have learned, like, I just follow my gut now. I know myself. I've done a lot of internal work. I continue to like progress and learn and grow and like hang on to that. And nobody ever says that to me, like stay in your lane, because I have a lot of different lanes. I've done a lot of different things. And I feel like I have a lot of different skills that I can bring to bear in a lot of different things. So like I own a mobile home park. We did a triple net lease option with an irrevocable right to purchase. Remember, I know how to negotiate leases, an irrevocable purchase option, economic control over the properties so that we could cost seg it. I know a lot about tax strategies for real estate professionals. I own a hotel. We did it seller finance. We syndicated the capital raise. We stripped it to the studs. I know a lot about construction, right? Like I can bring that to bear. I own single families. I didn't know about deeds and trusts and things, but I love to learn. So I was like, okay, it's a Subto. I'm going to put it in a land trust. So it looks like a land transfer, which lowers the risk of the acceleration of the loan and will move to beneficial interest, right? Now, there's a variety of ways that you can do that. So for me, I don't worry about that whole like stay focused lending. I have like a full-blown lending operation now, right? And I have built the team that like underwrites and does it. I'm the final say on that. I like to do a variety of things because that makes me feel alive and full. Now, that might not be the most lucrative way to build a business. But at this point in my life, I want to do what makes me happy, what excites me to like get up in the morning and be excited about what I'm doing. And if I just did one thing like, well, Rhea, you're just going to be a lender, I would be bored. I'd be like, really? Like, I don't get to like deal architect these crazy ass, nutty, deals. Like lending, I love lending. Lending is wonderful. I love being able to support somebody else's flip. Nothing makes me happier than like, because when we say we're going to lend, like we follow through. We are going to do that loan for you because I don't ever want to be, I don't want to crap out on somebody. So, but if that's all I did, I'd be bored because it's the same thing over and over again. I don't like the same thing over. Now there's real discipline to that, and discipline and commitment can build great things over time. But I also, there's Judah. I love you too, Judah. But I love doing a variety of different things. So while it might not be the most lucrative thing to do, it is what makes me happy and fills my cup up. And I believe that I can actually be happy and fill my cup up and get wealthy.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I love that you're demonstrating that, and even our mentors, right? Like Pace has been able to elevate himself where he's not just doing the one thing. And so I keep thinking about this part because my husband and I were having a conversation about this recently. He's like, are you sure you're not getting shiny object syndrome? And I'm like, if I can visualize what this end result could look like, I don't feel like that. Now, when I do feel it's shiny object syndrome is when I'm only in the curiosity stage. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know. But I feel like if I can see a path and see something with an end vision in mind that seems comprehensive enough that I'm like, no, that's not shiny to me. That seems like something I feel like I could put my teeth around and get to it,
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
For sure.
feel like that's to your point. I really love that you're affirming this for me, is that it really is about how does it make me feel. And I think that when those of us who experience enough things and mature enough in our business, that you realize that that gut feeling is the feeling that you really should lean into.
Yeah.
So I love.
There's a certain intuition, and I think the more experience you have in life, and it may not. I mean, there's younger people who have this intuition right out of the gate. I've seen it, but I will tell you, like I didn't have this in my 20s, but I have it now. I'm very decisive. Like I'm really clear on what the right path is, and I'm able to pull the trigger and move in that direction, even when I feel fearful about it. Right? Like feel the fear and courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Right? And I've learned this is scary. What if it doesn't go well? You know what? My gut, right? There's this intuition, like this is the right direction to move in. And then I just move in that direction and I test and measure and titrate as we go, right? Knowing that sometimes you are going to fail, right? Just make sure that you don't fail so big that it wipes you out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting. I love everything you're saying right now. What do you feel was there anything other than joining the community that made you get into this sort of mindset that allows you to kind of have that confidence about what you're now expressing?
Yeah. I've never had any self-esteem issues. In fact, my self-esteem issues are that I think I'm great. So my husband always says to me, well, we're not worried about you, Rhea, are we? I was like, no, I mean, I think
Well,
I
I
can do
love to see
anything.
that this is on the lady side of things because
Yeah.
it's lacking on like the, for us ladies. So
It's
yes.
true. Like, listen, lots of people have self-esteem, or I'm not good enough, or I don't think I can do that. I've never had those issues. I came out of the womb, like kicking and screaming, I can do anything. And, no, I can't be a brain surgeon. No, Rhea, you can't do anything. Like you're going to need to train to do that. But mostly I've never had those issues. So, and I'm quite comfortable with risk, right? I'm okay. I'm like, right, I've lost money, I've made money, and everything in between. And I know, because I'm a woman who knows how to fish, I'm never going to be homeless and I'm never going to go hungry, right? And so, like, when I break it down to that, like, there's kind of nothing that can, if the zombie apocalypse comes tomorrow and we're all wiped out, like, my family's going to live because I'm putting on the backpack and we're going to subsistence live. Like, that's the way I think. So with that kind of mindset, nothing is too like overwhelming. But I will tell you, as I've leveled up and I've done bigger things, I've borrowed more money. I've lent more money. The most terrifying thing for me right now, so I borrowed a lot of money and I've lent a lot of money. That is scary. It's scary for my money to be out. For sometimes I have almost all of our liquid money out. When my husband was like, do you think we could keep some of that held back? And I'm like, no, it's not working for us. And I borrow a lot of money, right? And so, like, what if my projects don't go well? What if I'm not going to be able to pay the lender off on time? Like, it's never happened. But if you do this long enough, like, something's going to happen. I worry about, like, my reputation, right? Like, right? Like, but you have to just go into it, do the proper due diligence, the proper paperwork, the proper expectations with your partner who's the lender or the money part, whatever it is, and have these open, frank conversations and dialogue. And as the projects are progressing, having the open, frank dialogue as you're going along, right? So there are no surprises. So, but there are times where I feel I'm like, this is a little scary. Like the first time I did it was a $500,000 EMD. I talk about this all the time. It was a $500,000 EMD loan. I was like, what if it goes wrong? Like, that's a lot of money to lose. And I've been wiped out on a loan before. I've lost 75,000 on one loan. Like, that hurt. Like, I was like, oh my God. But when I actually looked at the basket of loans and how much money I'd made, I was like, I'm at like a 37% APR. Like, I don't really care about that $75,000 because even if I walk away from it, because I didn't redeem the first lien holder, I was the second lien holder, it doesn't really matter because I'm still making so much. So putting it in perspective was helpful. But when I did that loan, I was like, whew, it was a little scary. Now it's not scary anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, well, somebody needs a big loan. All right, like let's just take care of it. So Jerry Norton said this at community camp. I don't know if you remember this. He said, every time you level up past the level that you've been before, you feel a little uncomfortable. And you should be, because that means you're growing. So when I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a couple, sleepless night, or I wake up and I have a little bit of anxiety because things are not going the way that I planned them. I also have a little OCD. So I like things to be like perfectly buttoned up. Like every night when I go to sleep, I want things to be perfectly buttoned up. And if you work in real estate, like that doesn't work that way. So, I have open wounds in my head all the time. And I'm like, chewing on my tongue because it bothers me. But that's the part of like my brain is trying to find all these different ways to like move put the puzzle together. But like, if I feel a little uncomfortable, I remember that conversation. I'm growing. Oh yeah, I'm growing. It's okay. But then I also have people, like, I will reach out to Pace like, oh man, I'm pulling the trigger on my Resilient Investor event. So I did a Resilient Investor event at the hotel that we bought creatively in May. And it was the first time that I'd ever held a workshop. I was like, I don't know, will people come? Right? Will they fly to the hotel? Will they come? And they did. It sold out and they came and it was amazing. And it was like a slumber party for investors. And we had amazing food and fantastic learning. And it was like so exciting. And I was like, oh, this is like awesome. Like I created the room that I wanted. And I decided to do it again here in Chicago, but it's now 400 people. And so I have to pull the trigger on hotel contracts, and it's like $400,000, right? Like, And so same thing. What if people don't come? But so I sent Pace this message and I was like, I'm feeling the fear and I'm doing it anyway. And he was like, yeah, like go for it, girl. Like, this is what we do, right? This is what we do. And so that's the way I try to look at whatever it is that I'm doing that is scaring me, right? I'm like, okay, is it scaring me because it's a bad thing to do? Or is it scaring me because I've not done it before and it feels a little precarious? But anything around money always feels a little precarious to me, because remember, I come from a family that had money, but lived like we didn't have money, right? So like that was passed on to me. The frugality of which was like this strange, I was like, we live in a really big house and my father's like the CEO and I don't understand why. It never made sense to me, but that was passed on. And so now I'm like, well, like we can't go there. We can't, my husband sometimes will say, well, I went and I don't know, it's like $100 expense. I'm like, $100, and he like looks at me sometimes like, what is wrong with you? Like, that's what happens to me, right? So I'm trying really hard to break that mindset, right? I don't want to drive my family crazy with this like crazy, unreasonable kind of, thinking around money. But every once in a while it creeps in. Like when I do something bigger, like what if people don't come to my event? Well, you're going to have to write a big check then, aren't you, Rhea? And that's going to suck, but whatever. Right. So I'm just learning how to like get comfortable with that place.
So tell us a little bit about your Resilient Investor Workshop. And I have my own story that I think I can share maybe a good 40% of that, I was going to share with you after this, but I think there's pieces of it that kind of intertwine with a little bit of what you're saying and what I believe maybe be this workshop about. But maybe if you could tell us a little bit what this workshop is about and how they can sign up.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. So my husband is, he's a 34-year physician. He's academically trained at the University of Chicago, and he is a well-known resilience speaker. So he talks to Fortune 500, big sales organizations on resilience and the science of resilience. He's actually written a couple of books. One of them is called The Undefeated Mind, and it is on the tenets on how resilience is like a muscle. You can build resilience. Humans can build resilience. You can become more resilient, as a matter of fact. And these are well-known. My husband's a scientist, so they study everything, and it has to have like double-blind, placebo-controlled, studied outcomes. I'm like, I don't know. It sounds good. So being resilient as an investor is absolutely critical, because if you do not have resilience, you're not going to be able, first of all, you have to be resilient and courageous in order to enter deals, because there's always some element of uncertainty. And when things don't go well, because it's not a straight line, when you're borrowing money, when you're lending money, when you're buying big deals, when you're buying small deals, whatever it is, right? You're solving a lot of different problems. And so learning how to build that resilience is absolutely key. So the resilient investor is, it's threefold. One, it does have some mindset component around resilience. My husband's actually going to come and talk about resilience. He's going to give his resilience talk that he gives to like Fortune 500 companies. He did that at the Resilient Investor of Vermont, and people were like, oh my God, because these are like actual studies. He'll give you the stats and the data and the real stuff. It's not like, think about abundance and abundance will come to you. That is not my husband. This is the science behind how this works, right? Your brain, the chemicals in your body, fight or flight, all those things. Okay. So that's really powerful. And then I also wanted to talk about some of the really creative things that I do building my companies and managing my day. Because what I realized, Ingrid, and I didn't know this, I thought everybody was doing what I'm doing. So, I'm an early adopter of everything. Like if you tell me there's this great tool, I'm like, oh, I want to go. I'm going to learn it like overnight. And so AI has been an absolute game changer. Like I use it in absolutely everything. I thought everybody was using it the way that I was. I was like, well, who would not do that? because, I think everybody's like me, which is my fatal flaw. When Pace says, do not put your head inside the head of the seller. They're not like you. They're different. Oh, because I used to be like, why would somebody sell me their house and keep their name on the mortgage? I would never do that. Of course you would never do that, Rhea, but they will, because you're trustworthy and you're not going to default on their mortgage. So I've learned, oh my gosh, there's all these people are out here and they don't know this. And I want them to have the same tools and same opportunities that I do. So we're going to talk about AI, but specifically how I use AI in underwriting, in putting together borrower packages, in evaluating land deals. Yeah, and sometimes it's hands-on. At the Resilient Investor Vermont, I was like hands-on. I was going to show you how to build a custom GPT. Like, some people don't even know about custom GPTs. Like, I have custom GPT. We need to get you some custom GPTs, girl. Oh, they're so easy. So easy. Again, I just thought everybody knew this.
No. In fact, I would say, if I'm being honest with myself, AI overwhelms me.
Yeah.
Have I used ChatGPT? Yes. We even have the $20 a month ChatGPT. It's been really great on our traditional real estate side, because we used to pay $20 a picture to put virtual staging. Now we're paying $20 a month for the program, and we can do our own virtual staging in like a matter of minutes. So I see some of the benefits. The part that is like I am holding back on, if what I really, really would love from an AI perspective is, how do I make sure they don't like negatively impact like my email or take away my passwords or anything like that? Because what I would really, really, really want is somebody managing my email. Like, I want my email so badly to be managed.
Yes. Well, you can do that. I would not recommend. So I don't turn anything 100% over to AI, because I think about AI as a tool, right, that has to be managed by the person that is managing it, right? And so I manage it very carefully, because I want to make sure it has my voice, or that it says what I want it to say, or because it can hallucinate, right? It can give you incorrect information. So AI is one of the things, but AI specifically in real estate, in building businesses. And then also, and I know there's lots of other people out here that teach this, but how do you build a lending business? How do you raise capital? So when I first started raising capital, I was like, why would anybody lend money to me? Like, first of all, this is weird. Why am I asking people for money when I have money? Why don't I just use my own money? And so I had to get over that. And I had to think about this. I'm offering you an opportunity to be a part of a transaction that I think is going to be really amazing. Right? It's an opportunity. Would you like to be part of this opportunity? I had to reframe that. That was the first thing. And then the second thing was, Pace said to me, he's like, why aren't you making yourself a bigger target? You need a social media team. I was like, a social media team? Why would I went to a day with Pace, and he said, Rhea, like, you should have a social media team. Because I was like, I'm posting things here or there. And I knew enough about what he had said before that was working really well. And I knew enough to believe him that I was like, I don't really question what he says anymore. I basically just follow what Pace does. I just do the same thing. I'm just going to follow him, just literally just copy what he does. And then he said to do it. I did it, and it changed everything. I mean, I have people that send me text messages. I have 350,000. I'd like to be a part of one of your deals, but I want equity. I don't want to lend on it. Okay, you can come in and be a partner. Now, I usually like to have, if someone's going to come in and like buy an asset with me, I usually want them to bring something other than just money. I want them to have some sort of skill set, because I need that. But there's so many opportunities that come to me now as a result of making myself a big target and sharing the good and the bad. Like, I don't share, this is amazing. I'm like, let me tell you about the mistakes that I've made. Don't step in that dog poop, because I just did. Watch that pile right there. I do not step in that. Yep. Because I think that that's really important that people see, because if they see only, right, wow, she's got it totally together. Well, no, I mean, I'm just taking action, and things, I'm navigating through as we're pivoting as things are happening. So that's been, the capital raising and the social media part of that. I think there are too many people out there that have really good deals or really good opportunities, but they haven't made themselves a big enough target. And I want to share some of the things that I did. First of all, I want to tell them, I know where you are. I know how you're feeling. And you think like, why would I put myself out there? And then I want to tell you what I did and how I did it and how it worked. Because when people, so maybe these are people who, maybe it's a woman and she's looking at Pace and saying, I feel like you're different than me because you're Pace. But then she looks at me and she says, oh, I feel like you're like me. It might resonate with her more than it does with her watching Pace or somebody else, right? Mm-hmm. And then the last thing is being around the energy of the people, right? Like you guys, it has changed my entire life. Like literally changed my life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah, mine too. I hardly speak to anybody who's not in. What I fear is that people think it's like a cult, but I don't know how else to feel when like give me some more. I mean, I love the people that
here's the red Kool-Aid or the blue Kool-Aid. Which one do you want to drink? I'll drink them both. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we move forward, Rhea, where can people while we have a good capture of people here on YouTube and on Instagram, if they wanted to sign up for your Resilient Investor Workshop, where do they go to sign up?
Yes, they can go to, actually, I can't, can I put a link?
Huh. Oh. Yeah, put the link in the private chat. And then what I'll do is I'll actually go to it and we'll navigate to it.
Awesome. There it is right there.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not too crazy because I know that I'm using my, we're entrepreneurs, we're pivoting. Unfortunately, I'm on my hotspot on my phone
it's totally
because
fine.
It's just, yeah. Okay. Is there some sort of, wait, hold on. Before I get on there, something is showing.
If you click on the link, it'll take you to the landing page.
Yeah.
And just one thing about the Resilient Investor. So I have to say this. So I love all of the real estate events that I go to. They're amazing. I come back with like such incredible energy. I'm so enthused, right? It's just like, it's amazing. But I'm a foodie and I'm really funny about my food. And so the Resilient Investor Chicago, we're going to have beautiful food at all of our lunches and our opening night reception. Make sure you come in on the 31st if you're going to come. By the way, the hotel is being announced. We're updating the page. It's the Renaissance Hotel Chicago. There will be a room block and a link. Pace and Jamil are going to come and speak. Dr. Lickerman, Alex, my husband's going to talk about resilience. Monique, who's doing all these crazy, she's doing like 10 deals a week. She's going to speak. Stella from Fractional, who's building this incredible investment club, Fractional. She's amazing, right? I've raised $2.4 million on Fractional for a variety of different things. And it's been a total game changer. It's been incredible. And so I'm creating the room that I want to be in with my people. Not that the rooms that I'm in with anyone else are any less good. They're amazing. I just want more of it. Right? I just want more of it for sure. Yeah.
I love this website too. So clean and nice and easy to navigate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. Just one thing about resilience, the resilience piece of this and mindset. I just want to very briefly, when people talk about mindset, I was like, what is mindset? I don't know. Earlier on, I don't understand mindset. And then I realized, oh my God, I have mindset issues. My mindset issues around money. I'm cheap. And right, I've had to learn to realize that I'm in this box and somehow crack through it. And that's been kind of an issue for me, right? Like, because I'm so cheap, like I feel the need to have all my money out all the time making money. And a couple of times I've left us a little lean. My husband's like, Rhea, where's all our money? And I've done that because, again, I have a little OCD. And so I'm funny about things being like set up perfectly, but also I'm cheap. I want my money to be making money all the time. And so I'm trying to get a little less rigid about some of those things. And also just a little less rigid about my deals being perfect. Like none of my deals are perfect, I'll be honest with you, but I get crazy when my business plan that I planned is not going as it was planned. And so it starts to make me a little crazy, and I have sleepless nights and my head is going, right? But like if you do that too much and you have a lot of deals at any one point, like you're never going to sleep. Like you just have to let go of some of those things and just learn how to be a little more fluid and pivot. Like, okay, well, the surveyor didn't come out. So, all right, well, this is not happening. All right. So then we just like we're solving problems. So trying to get better about that and be a little less annoyed when my business plan is not going exactly the way I planned it.
Yeah. And for those of you asking, we're not just on YouTube or on Instagram, and I'm kind of keeping track of both. People were asking when this event is. It's November 1st and 2nd. Is that what I read?
Yes, actually October 31st. So make sure you fly into Chicago October 31st because we are doing an opening night reception and it's going to be fabulous, you guys. Again, I told you I'm a foodie. And Chicago is a fantastic foodie city. So we're going to have
Restaurant week in Chicago is the bomb.
The bomb, right? Yeah,
Yes.
the bomb. And the hotel is beautiful and super funky. And it's got all sorts of great intentional spaces for us to like network and chill out. Great rooms. It's right on the Chicago River. There's a beautiful river walk. It's like, it's just going to be, you know, it's like, imagine having like 300 or 400 of your best friends in your city where you get to like eat and drink and level up and talk about deals and talk about AI and learn from each other. Like the idea of this is like, it makes me crazy. It makes me,
I love it.
And Pace and Jamil, like two of the most amazing human beings out there, right? Like who give so much, right? Coming in. I mean, I consider Pace and Jamil, like maybe they don't consider me their best friend, but like they're like one of my best friends and even they don't even know sometimes that they're my best friend because I'm watching what they're doing. I'm like, my bestie's doing this. I love it. No, my bestie said that. I love it. Like it's such, I feel so connected to what and I listen, like if you listen and you read between the lines, right? Sometimes what Pace is saying or Jamil is saying, just read between the lines and then go do that, right? Just pay real close attention. Like, because some of us, right, have been in real estate and maybe, right, are a little older. But if you read between the lines, there's always these like gold nuggets, like, oh, or like, do you understand the assignment, Rhea? Oh, yeah, I understand the assignment. The assignment is to connect with as many as people. It's not the like what I'm learning in the room. It's the people. Like I didn't understand the assignment at first because I was like, well, I'm here to learn. Yeah, I get the learning, but oh my God, I'm here to meet all of these people. Now I understand the assignment.
My face is hurting from so much like really smiling because everything you're saying is like it's feeding the perspective I felt like I was weird for thinking about. It's like not like, you know, because sometimes when and I really do think that this is how I know you have a very strategic mindset where you can kind of see beyond the veil of what's been presenting, what's behind what they're actually saying. And I feel sometimes you have to work at it. You have to know what that looks like. And so I love everything you're saying right now. And by the way, so for me, it's like, and I'm kind of on this like search my soul kind of religious, you know, thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I get this, everything you're saying, because the two greatest commandments Jesus said was like, love God more than with all your heart and all your soul, right? And then the next is love your neighbor like you love yourself. And so it's like, I'm just loving all my neighbors, you know, like I can't help how much I love these neighbors we've built in this neighborhood that we call Subto, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Even when I'm annoyed or I'm pissed off, things are not going my way and I'm bitching and moaning, I wake up the next day and I'm like, I'm so grateful for the people and the connections and the joy of actually doing business with each other. In fact, while I was sitting here, Andrew Murray, who I actually connected with first before I came to Subto, he's actually one of my lenders. So he lends to me, we do deals together. It's just like, right. And he called while I was like on this call. Like these are my friends. These are my people. It's so like at the Resilient Investor Vermont, it was a slumber party for investors. Like I came out with a towel on my head and no makeup. I was like, good morning, you guys, let's grab coffee. Like it was like magical. You know, Vina Jetty came in, she spoke, right? And it was like, we were like two little peas in a pod laughing and Instagramming, you know, it's just like the people that are in my life now have transformed my life, really, truly I finally feel, and also maybe it's like the age that I am too, right? I can be exactly who I am. I do not have to worry about, not you specifically, but if you put me in a pigeonhole because, well, you know, Rhea's like super professional and she wears a suit and she like, that's actually not who I am. That I can look that way, but I can also like go camping and poop in the woods. Do you know what I mean? Like I can wear a ball gown or I can camp and poop in the woods. And I am everything in between and all of those things. And I finally feel like I can have my nails done and have my lip gloss on and be camping. That's what I do. Yeah. That's who I am. I'm good with that. So it's amazing. It's been amazing.
Yeah. So tell me what, obviously in the Resilient Investor Workshop that you're about to have, October 31st through the 2nd, tell me beyond that, because I think that's what you're super excited about. What else has you totally like revved up maybe on the investment side of things?
Well, I can't tell you yet exactly the name of the hotel, but we're just about to buy another hotel creatively, which is very exciting. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to announce that. That's super fun. Again, my partners are right here in the community, which is amazing. I have a land business and I've realized there's a lot of women who want to get into land, and land is typically run, and some of the land academies are run by men. And so I love my bros. I love my land bros. I fund tons of land deals. They're like my favorite people in the whole world. But sometimes it's a little intimidating because it's the land bros. And so I actually run a program now. It's called Acres to Assets, the $1 million blueprint. Because I remember when I started land in November of 2023, like we were like figuring, me and Imelda, like, oh, I don't know, let's figure this out together, you know, like the two of us. I don't know, you set up the mailing and I'll make the calls. And I realized I was doing one-to-one. I can't do one-to-one anymore. I have to do one-to-many. And I have to actually, like, people have to pay for it because they have to have some teeth to it, because people will come in and they'll spend a bunch of time and then they won't do anything. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. You have to come in and you have to get one deal and you have to pay off exactly what it cost you. And then you either love this and you're going to go run and do land everywhere, or you're going to say, I don't love it, but it didn't cost me anything because I got my first deal. Because I will fund everybody's first deal. Because I fund land anyway. Yeah, as long as it's a deal. We don't.
It's got to be a deal.
Yeah, I'll fund everybody's first deal that comes in. Don't worry about the funding. It makes no difference. We'll get it taken care of. So I've realized also that one of the things that I love to do, even though I've been a lone wolf my entire life, so I'm this lone wolf. You can't take down an elephant as one wolf, but as a pack you can. And so like somehow I missed that growing up, and somehow I've just been alone. And now I know I'm better, we're stronger together, right? When I work in partnership with people that have other skills than me. And so everything I do now is technically like I do everything in partnership with other people. I'm pretty careful about my partnerships because I've had some partnerships not go so well. So I'm pretty sticky about that, especially if I have to raise the capital and the money of people that I know, right? I have to be controlling interest just in case you don't perform. There's just some things, right? Like I know how to structure that now so that I'm not worried about, what if we don't, right? What if they don't pay my friends, my people back? So I'm jazzed about land. I'm jazzed about the Resilient Investor. And I'm jazzed about this hotel purchase that's coming up. And then I feel like I've reached this new level where I now have all the tools and skills. Like Vina Jetty, I said, Vina, do you think I'm ready to go buy a $40 million? And she said, you're ready. I said, you think so? And she said, girl, you've been ready. Yeah, you're ready. I was like, okay. I just sort of needed to hear that from her to say, okay, now I'm hunting $20 million, $40 million, $50 million projects because I can put that together. And
multifamily?
Yeah, multifamily and mobile home parks. So I love mobile home parks because I think that affordable housing is very important, but affordable housing does not have to look as crummy as it does. Why, in God's name, do we have these beaten up, broken down, crummy mobile home parks? It's because the operators don't want to put any money into them, right? And look, they own it outright. Great. I'll come in, I'll buy it, I'll raise a little bit of capital. We'll come in, we'll put some plantings, we'll put in nice lights, we'll bump it up a little bit, not too much, because we don't want to like make it difficult for people. And we can do good and do well. Why can't we do good and do well? Do good. I want to make a lot of money, but I also want to do good.
Oh my God, I say that every day. I say today, just do more good. Like
Good.
it's today is such a blessing. Why not leave it with some good? Tomorrow's not promised.
It's
So
not, you know what? Watching my mom decline and realizing like that was the genesis of me pulling the trigger on the payment for Subto again, because I told you I'm cheap, right? And like that was a big deal for me to spend that kind of money on a whatever. We're a community, but we call it a mastermind or a mentorship, whatever I was calling it back then. It was really hard for me to pull the trigger. And I'm so grateful I did. And I'm so grateful that I was able to have this like awakening moment where I'm now able to see the beauty of the connection and the opportunities that I get on a plane and I want to come to every event. I'm like, we're owners club. Okay, great. We're going to do the owners club retreat. And then, we're going to do this zero down thing. Okay, I'll just stay for the whole week and I'll go hang out with Carolyn Kane and I'll come visit you and we'll do stuff. Maybe we'll go to Pace's office. We'll make calls. We'll whatever, right? Like I can be working those days and then I'll stay for the zero down 2.0. Like I am super excited to just be exchanging molecules with my people.
yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I don't think I've done a podcast yet where my face just hurts from all the smiling of the wonderful things my guests have to say. Like this has been so great. I love it so much.
I knew
Well,
you and I loved each other for a reason because like we're so much alike.
yeah, two peas in a pod. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as somebody who was a caregiver for over 8 years, I completely empathize with a lot of what you had to endure, with your mom. And so I'm certain that she's down looking at you with so much proudness of this person, this butterfly you've been able to become, and it's just it's wonderful story. So for
Oh,
sure.
thank you. Thank you for saying
Um,
that. Well,
I'm also happy you're going to be here for Owners Club.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Me too. It's going to be fun.
and if you're going to be here for a whole week, we're definitely going to have to go to dinner and like enjoy some time together, and see how that goes. But as far as mobile home parks are concerned, like that has started to become my jam. I'm starting to focus a little bit more on that because I feel exactly what you're saying. I hear the same perspective. Oh, I wasn't scrolling. Look at all our friends are in the chat. We got Birdie, Ashley, Wes. Oh, so she's excited about your hotel. Um, Darina, I love Darina. She's buying mobile home parks too.
No.
Sorry guys, I was so like into what Rhea was saying, and I wasn't scrolling on my little comments. So, we do adore you. I'm so happy that you're here. I just saw Stevie say she adores you. We all adore you. I
Oh.
love all of this energy and love that like is just exuding from you, and like that's what makes this community so special, is because of people like you. So I love this.
Oh, thank you. You know what, you guys really like, I'm serious when I say like you've changed my life. Like
Mhm.
my best friends are here, my business partners are here. I feel like there's nothing that I couldn't get in the community of people that are like my besties. There are people in the community I have never met that I would say like, "Oh, you're my bestie." Crazy. I mean, it's just honestly, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, wonderful. Well, we will have to have you back on the show so you can tell us about how your workshop went, and how things are moving along with your next hotel. And I'm sure you'll have another investor club that you'd want people to join. So would love it would be super lovely to have you back.
Thank you. You're amazing, Ingrid. Thank you for all that you do. You're just incredible. You're one of the OGs and you're somebody that all of us look up to. So thank you for being a bright, bright spark in this community.
Oh, thank you. All right, guys. Well, that was Rhea Campbell. Love on her. Go check out her Resilient Investor Workshop coming to you October 31st through November 2nd. The link is in the chat. And like always, the Explain It podcast is here with you every week, every Wednesday live from 1 to 2 p.m. Arizona time. So don't forget to come back next week as we have another amazing guest. So thanks, everybody.
Ciao.